How to tell stories effectively in business contexts.
Very good content. I think we have the expert in here, Tim.
Well, I certainly appreciate the vote of confidence. It's an area that I have really been digging into, especially with some of my clients, wanting to tell a really good story from a couple of different perspectives. You can tell it from a sales perspective, selling your products and services to a potential customer. You can have storytelling when it comes to internally making suggestions for change and dealing with change management on a process or a procedure or even just organizational changes. There are different elements that all are based on communication, being clear with your communication to the people in which you are driving your message towards. One thing that for me is really important and where I tend to help more people in business is around their sales story. This is a challenge because most salespeople will use the opportunity to sell the story around the features and benefits of the product or service in which they're selling. And this is not going to help them because there are times in which our prospective customers do want to learn about features and benefits, but the only reason that they would ever want to hear that is because your product or service solves their problem. It solves their time management issue. It solves their revenue issue. It solves their profitability issue. It solves their hiring people issue, whatever the business issue at hand is for them. We need to identify what that is and tell the story about how the product or service that we have will help them overcome that problem. The challenge that a lot of people face is that if you're talking about whether or not your screens are customized in this special software, or whether or not there's so much delivery time as it relates to when something is coming or not, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if something doesn't arrive on time and it doesn't solve the problem anyway, what difference does it make around whether it can get there faster or not compared to your competition? I always encourage my clients to find out what the real business problem is, dig in and tell the story about how your current customers have gone on their own journey, faced a similar problem, faced the battle around which way they could choose in which to solve it, whether it was through their existing systems, their existing products, or if they made a change to your product and what the outcome of that was and what the results delivered for them were. And by telling that story, making your product or service relatable to your prospective customer because someone else has experienced that journey that they are already on, and someone else has already solved that problem, potentially someone that you may even be competing against. That is the story then that you want to be able to tell and help your current customer or your prospective customer to tell, so that they are bought in to want to go on the journey with you and choose you as the business of choice versus your products and services, features and benefits.
Exactly, Tim. It's me too. And I, having been in sales myself for a number of years, recently I've used a story from one of my customers when talking to new customers about why a particular product should be used in a certain way because of a conflict, a potentially life-threatening conflict that this person experienced. And I said, you got to make sure you have this, because let me tell you a story what happened to this other customer. And I think that's very effective and people can relate to it and identify with it right away. Very visceral.
I hope that there are more salesperson like that, because I if I'm told the spec, this is something, my brain goes, "Bzz, is that tasty?" When I try to buy computer and specs and so forth. So what are you going to tell me? So what I can do about it is the gap. They don't really notice the story's power. Relatable stories power. So my coaching, I coach one-on-one, so we need to open up a lot to tell them the stories they can relate to. You are not the only one. I've been there. I've done that. So I embarrassed myself many times. That kind of stories open them up. Then they realize that what they really want is often piled up underneath of everyday's life. It's very difficult to find by themselves. Sometimes it's just a little distance helps to see things clearly. Then as a coach, you tell them I've been there, so if they can relate to my experience, they can see through themselves a little bit from the distance. It's something I cannot do without storytelling. So developing storytelling skills is not for some sleazy sales technique. It's just a way of connecting people more authentic way and let them know who I am, and just genuine relationship grows. That really makes me happy about the storytelling and in business.
Beautifully put, Misako. Very well and succinctly put. Thank you.
Thank you.